This is CBS 8 News Live at 5.
A suspected car thief is dead after being shot by a San Diego sheriff's deputy in Otay Mesa. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price.
And I'm Kirsten Holmes. It happened this morning when deputies responded to a report of a stolen car near a shopping center on Roll Drive. Now, investigators say the driver refused to surrender and then crashed into parked cars, hitting a deputy in the process.
And that's when we're told a deputy opened fire. CBS 8's Ariana Cohen has the very latest.
This area of Via de la Amistad and Roll Drive has been blocked off for hours as San Diego Police Homicide Unit continues to investigate.
This morning, the San Diego County Sheriff's Office says they called in extra patrols after locating this stolen vehicle in an Otay Mesa strip mall. San Diego Homicide Unit's Captain Rich Friedman says deputies asked the driver and two passengers to get out of the stolen car, but they refused orders.
The driver did not comply and actually backed his vehicle out of the stalls, colliding with numerous vehicles.
The two passengers were later arrested. The driver reportedly hit an undercover deputy car and a deputy as he tried to drive away.
One of the was knocked over by the vehicle, which prompted another deputy to discharge his firearm.
The driver did get hit by gunfire, but kept driving, hitting more cars, before eventually coming to a stop. Deputies got him out and he was given medical aid before dying at the scene. The deputy hit during the chaos is expected to be okay.
The deputy is seeking treatment for his injuries right now.
They're working on collecting surveillance video and deputy body cam footage.
This story is still developing. Stay with us online and on air for the latest updates. I'm Ariana Cohen for CBS 8.
Ariana, thank you. A 19-year-old Oceanside man behind bars right now. Police believe he's responsible for a series of brazen robberies that happened last weekend in Coronado.
That's right. Nearly a dozen victims were robbed at gunpoint late last Saturday night in Centennial Park and near the ferry landing. One woman was pistol whipped in her head before some other victims ganged up on the suspect and disarmed him. Oceanside police reported the arrest of 19-year-old Manuel Hernandez last night. He's been booked into Central Jail downtown. He's now facing a host of charges, including 14 counts of robbery. And another brazen crime, this one caught on camera. A thief stole a puppy right out of its front yard.
Happened this weekend in Grant Hill. That puppy's still missing. You can see a man walking down the sidewalk, apparently holding a beer in a paper bag. He stops in front of the home. The puppy, named Bridget, runs over, and then he reaches down to pet it. And check this out. He picks up the puppy and then just walks away. The owner has filed a police report. He tells us Bridget, 8 months old, was a birthday present for his wife. We are going to hear from the puppy's heartbroken owner tonight on CBS 8 News at 6:30.
Such an unfortunate situation. Okay, so we got to talk about the weather, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had a midweek cool down, then it warmed right back up just in time for the holiday weekend.
Yeah, will that warmer weather stick around for your Sunday, though? Meteorologist Sean Stiles is here with a first look at that microclimate forecast. Hey, Sean.
We talked about it last week, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about it now. This secondary storm that's starting to develop off the coastline right now. You can see the clouds starting to make their way towards San Diego. However, we will squeak out at least one more day without any precipitation coming into the area. It's after that that things really start to change. You can see this weak area of low pressure. This is a cutoff low from the main jet stream itself. There's a very powerful storm on the backside of this storm. Today we got up to 68, just slightly above average, but the sun made it feel very nice as it's getting higher and higher in the horizon. So when we get that radiational heating of the day, we see those temperatures rebound a little bit. However, tomorrow we won't have as much warm temperatures, but we will see some sunshine. It's then on Monday where that cooler air comes in, and look at Tuesday. Boy, we start to see this very chilly storm make its way into Southern California with temperatures well below average, both along the coast and inland. Tomorrow, very nice in the inland microclimates. Then Monday and Tuesday is when we see that rapid cool down, and rain is on the way. We'll talk about how much in just a bit.
Tonight, there's been a sharp spike in violence in eastern Ukraine.
The U.S. has long warned Russia might use a violent incident as a pretext for invasion. On Friday, President Biden said that he's convinced Russia is planning to attack Ukraine's capital city in the next few days.
Now, Ukraine's president is demanding immediate sanctions on Russia in hopes of deterring an invasion. Michael George has the latest.
Russia flexed its military muscle Saturday, conducting massive nuclear forces drills, overseen by Vladimir Putin. The Russian president says this was planned some time ago, and it's nothing to worry about. But there's been an uptick in shellings in eastern Ukraine. Rebels loyal to Russia have evacuated thousands of Ukrainians to Russia, claiming they are being threatened by Ukraine's military. A U.S. defense official says half of the approximately 190,000 Russian troops along Ukraine's border are attack-ready. Friday, President Biden predicted Russia will strike Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, in the next few days, a city of about 3 million people.
If Russia pursues its plans, it will be responsible for a catastrophic and needless war of choice.
At the annual Munich Security Conference, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky called on Putin to meet with him. Zelensky did meet Vice President Kamala Harris, who assured him the U.S. stands with Ukraine.
If Russia further invades Ukraine, the United States, together with our allies and partners, will impose significant and unprecedented economic costs.
Zelensky wants those sanctions imposed immediately because he says the current situation is destroying Ukraine's economy. In one eastern town, residents waited in a long line for the only ATM they could find still dispensing cash. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
A U.S. official says they have not changed their position on holding back sanctions until after Putin acts. Meantime, we asked a UC San Diego expert on Eastern Europe about this latest escalation by Russia.
Yeah, Eric Gartsky is a professor of political science. He's also the director of the Center for Peace and Security Studies. He said that although the shelling and violence has been ongoing in eastern Ukraine for 8 years, it seems increasingly unlikely that Vladimir Putin is merely posturing.
The gritty details of military preparedness are such that in the final days before an invasion, countries do things that are hard to replicate in a simple sort of pretend mode.
Gartsky also said that if Russia does invade, he believes the U.S. has taken careful steps to support Ukraine without risking a larger escalation.
The unsolved disappearance of Chula Vista mother Maya Miliete is again gaining national attention. Tonight, 48 Hours Investigates is diving into the Miliete case, an investigation that CBS 8 has covered for more than a year following Maya's disappearance. After a police investigation, detectives arrested Maya's husband, Larry Miliete, for the murder of his wife. However, the search for Maya's remains continues, and Maya's family is hoping that this national exposure will raise awareness of the case and bring closure to her family.
We know somebody out there knows something. It could be a friend of Larry's, it could be somebody close to him, or a co-worker, somebody. It's going to click, and it's going to hopefully just bring awareness, reach that person's heart and maybe have like a change of heart.
48 Hours Investigates searching for Maya Miliete airs tonight on CBS 8 at 10 p.m., followed by CBS 8 News Live at 11.